today on the worst mechanic ever.
Alrighty, so today we're going to be looking at replacing the starter on a 6th Gen Maxima. This is the 4-speed version. Make sure when you purchase your starter you get the right version. There's 3 different versions, your 4, your 5-speed, and a 6-speed, which is a manual transmission. And I believe they're all the same. I'm pretty sure the 4-speed and the 5-speed, they're totally different, so make sure you get the right one. Alrighty, so step number 1. So today we are going to be looking at the long way to replacing a starter. So let's check this out. Step number 1 of the long way, you have to drain your radiator. Now put it somewhere safe, or you can just leave it on top, whatever. So the next step, draining your radiator. So to get this done, you want to jack your car up. So you can jack your car up and use jack stands or use a ramp. Today we're going to be using a ramp. So check this out. Car's dead. Okay, let's try it now, see what happens. Awesome, the car started. So what you're gonna be noticing, yeah, my car is pretty loud. That's the timing belt. I guess if you have a Nissan Maxima, you're familiar with that. Let me close this door, make it quieter in here. So my battery has been acting up, and you guys noticed that my car did start when I put a booster on it. Just making sure I was recording. So what's happening with my starter is that I did rebuild that starter about a year ago, and a couple days ago, probably like a month ago, the thing started acting up. I would go to start the car up, and I would just get a click, right? So that's not good. So the reason I'm changing the starter, even though it starts sometimes, which sometimes is not good enough, is because of that. I need this car to start every single time. So this rebuild starter that I rebuild myself is just not good enough. So today we're gonna replace it. And again, the long way. I'm looking up at something. Alrighty, let's go for it. Hopefully this battery lasts me at least an hour. Make sure you put chucks at the back of your vehicle, just in case. You never know what could go wrong, so try to be safe. Alrighty, so once you have the car jacked up, or on stands or whatever, and you have the radiator plug removed, it's time to drain this baby out. So to do that, we are going to be removing this plug on the passenger side of the vehicle. I'm using a flat head. Let's see if that works. Yeah, probably not a good idea. Not a good idea. So I'll go get the right tool for this in a second. A little cheap tip. If your antifreeze is pretty new, you could recycle it. Get a clean bucket, dump it in there, and you can reuse that. Alrighty, so I'm back with a different screwdriver. Let's see if this one works. You want to get a pretty big screwdriver to put in this thing. And again, it's going to be a Phillips head. Let's see if this works. Hopefully it does. I don't feel like stripping this thing. Yeah, this is gonna work out. So go ahead and drop that screw out, and then catch the antifreeze in a bucket. Right? I mean, you're gonna catch it in a bucket anyway, but if you're gonna recycle it, make sure it's a clean bucket. Alrighty, so as the car's draining out, let's talk about what's gonna happen here. So we're taking the battery out. So you have to remove the battery bracket, your terminals. We are taking the tray out to make more space, taking out your air plenum, your intake. And then the reason we drain this thing out is because we're gonna try to make some room by removing some of those radiator hoses back there that are covering the starter. So that's the reason why I'm doing it like this. Let's go for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this air plenum out. So flathead here, flathead over there, and then just wiggle this thing out. So I'm gonna go for that. There's air box. I'm gonna just snap it off. Just pretty much open it right there. And once the tubing is off, I'm gonna just sit it right up here. I don't feel like taking this cable off, so I'll just sit it off to the side. If it becomes an issue, we'll disconnect it. But for now, that'll be it. Take this side off first. This side. Alright, so to remove this air box, again, you're gonna take off the little latches, and then there's a plastic tab in there that you just have to just work it out. So kind of like fold it downwards and just work it out there. And this thing's gonna live here for a little bit. And it seems like I might need a new filter. Problem. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the battery box. But before that, real fast. So I guess the typical way to get this thing out is that you guys will come in here. There's only two bolts, a 17 towards the back and a 14 closer to the front. So two bolts that hold this thing to the engine. And then you have these guys here that hook up your negative and your positive. And typically, you know, I guess for a pro, you are able to just pull this thing out without removing all these accessories. I tried it once and it gave me a real hard time, so I'm just trying to make my life, I guess it's more steps to it, but you know, it just, I don't know. I really can't say it's easier, but this is the way I want to do it. I'm going to take the hoses off to give myself more access, and then getting to the starter should be a lot easier. So let's go for it right now. I'm gonna finish taking this guy off, the battery box. So I'm gonna remove them and just push them off to the side. Alrighty, so here we have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 12mm bolts. There's gonna be one that is tucked right under here. Alrighty, so that might be the tougher one to get to. Let's see. I guess if you could sway this bundle of cable around, it might be easier to get to, or just getting a socket in your hatchet wrench in there. Is that what it's called? Your ratcheting wrench, whatever. Your socket wrench. Just right under here, and just working it. For the rest of these, and I'm gonna be using my my power tool just because I have it, and I just want to make my life easier. So if not, you could get an extension here with your socket and your wrench and just wrench it out of there. And you want to remove this tab here, so you could just use a screwdriver, flathead, and just pop it up from here. Or if you want to do it the right way, you grab some pliers, squeeze the base, and then bring it up. Use some tie wrap later on to reattach this. That's it. Sorry, so now you want to loosen this box up, just to give your plate some more space. So there's our little tabs that sit inside of here. Yeah, they sit right here. So what you want to do is that push them in as you're pushing it upward, or pushing the plate down, whatever you want to do. And then leave that up. Then you can take that battery and plate out. Okay, so we got that far. So you really can't do much about this bundle here, but I'm trying not to force it too much, because these wires do become brittle and they could snap on you, and you do not want that to happen. So just watch out with your wires. So what I'm going to be trying to work on is loosening up the hoses that are back here. So there's a hose in here, right back there somewhere. This guy here, this guy here. Just giving myself room so I could work on that starter freely. and not be stressed out. So that's what we're going for right now. Okay, so one other thing, before getting to the hoses and getting all these hoses removed, I want to free up this wire bundle up, or wire harness, right? So this wire bundle up. So there's actually another bracket right back here, and to get to this you have to use a 12 millimeter socket and get that guy through here. So I'll try to show what that looks like in a second. Yeah, I guess you can see it. Better shot. That's it right there. So loosen that up, and that's gonna give you a couple more inches to move this this wire harness around. So removing that, what that allows you to do is, you know, it just gives you a little bit more flexibility back here. That's about it. So again, like, try not to force this thing too much, because you could break a wire. Alrighty, so now I'm taking off these hoses. Actually, you know what, before doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and take the negative and the positive of the starter. Let's just get that done. So this should be pretty simple. Just work that out of there. Loosen that baby up. I'm pretty sure you could finish the rest of it by hand. Get that guy out. Now I'm gonna go for this guy here, and I guess I won't record that too much because it is pretty simple. Alrighty, so that's free now. So here's the positive, goes on top, and here is the negative. It's connected to the starter, goes at the bottom. Alrighty, so just a little warning, I guess, or a tip or whatever. So this thing it's actually made per the Nissan guidelines. You should be able to pull this thing out without having to do everything I'm doing here. But again, I had a hard time doing it, so that's the reason I'm giving myself room to get this thing done. So at this point, you might be able to just pull that thing out of there. I'm not gonna go for it. I probably could get the starter off. I'm pretty sure I could do that. I might go ahead and do it anyway. But again, it's made to be pulled out of there without having to do all these things that I'm doing. I just personally can't do it. Okay, so this is the part that I hate, and it's removing the hoses. So let's see if I can get a shot of this. So there's that valve back here. I call it a bypass. I don't know what the heck it is. I'm pretty sure I could look it up. I don't want to though. So there's a couple clamps, and these are, I guess, you know, they're not the hardest to get to. They are hard to put back on, as you notice on my left one, pretty much hanging. So pretty much I just clamp on these. I'm using a channel lock. Clamp on these, roll them back. So roll these guys back, and then I'll probably say 80% of the time, 90, your hoses are gonna be they're gonna be pretty much stuck to the metal. So what I do is that if you can get your channel lock in there, mosquitoes. If you can get your channel lock in there, just work it. Try to break that thing free. But you know, right now I'm gonna try to risk removing the starter out without having to remove this thing. And what gives me a hard time is that valve back there. That valve is actually, for whatever reason, it's actually attached to the starter. Not sure why the heck they did that, but let's see what happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the starter real quick. So there's gonna be two bolts, a 17 at the back and a 14 at the front. So let's get that going on. It should be pretty simple to get this thing out. It's just putting it back on, but it's a pain in the butt. Let's see what happens. I'm using a 17 millimeter socket with an extension, and this thing goes back here, right behind the starter, and you'll feel the bolt back there. So we're going right behind the starter, right back there. You put that thing on your bolt. Make sure it's nice and snug. Make sure that it's not loose, so you don't strip that bolt. And then work that baby out. So let's see if I can show you where it's at. So from back here. So here's the starter. This is a better angle. There's this starter, and this thing goes right back there. So let me go ahead and get that thing loose. That thing is tight. I hope it's not stripped in there. So I'm going to plan B on this thing. So right now I have the long socket. I have an extension, and it has me weight out here. So the problem is that bolt is pretty tight. I'm hoping that I didn't cross thread it last time I was putting it in there. I don't think I did. I'm pretty cautious with that stuff, but who knows? Things happen. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to plan B. I'm just gonna use the socket and a breaker bar, and I'm gonna just try to loosen that thing up. Let's see if that works out. There's not really much space in there, but I'm gonna go for it because this thing's just not working out.